Okay, it's the Patterson Farm Master Plan Implementation Committee, and I'm Peter Solor, the Vice Chair, and
Red Child, Secretary.
Ron Schmid.
Joe Camaratta.
Jenifer Stark.
okay, and there's nobody else in the waiting room, and we have Bet here in the room as the audience. So first up is review and approval of the June 5th meeting minutes. Red?
The June 5th meeting minutes were distributed to the committee. I did receive some recommended changes. I think Janelle took care of that and has distributed the draft final for any further comments or changes, corrections, adjustments.
Make a motion to accept the audio. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as
I'll second that motion.
said.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, there we go. We're through that. And then the next up is subcommittee updates. The first subcommittee is going to be building protection and enhancement, which is probably going to be relatively quick since there's nobody from the township here. So I actually haven't gone out to see where the carpentry painting lead paint status is. They're done on your side now, Bet? Okay. Oh, audio, so it's for record, so people can hear it.
We on?
Yep.
Looks like everything except the corn crib at the Patterson side is done. I saw some carpentry repairs today on the barn side facing the Janney house today, I think that's it. Waiting for them to move their lifts over to Satterthwaite.
Okay. All right. Phase 2 environmental safety assessment study. Well, phase 2 plus. I've received no update from the township with regards to where that stands. I believe they're still trying to work out something with the development authority to have it covered through that again, but no update there. On the others category, the asbestos abatement, which would be for all buildings that we requested, the township is putting together a package for solicitation, and they're anticipating getting it out for bid August 6th, I believe. And the one other item I'm aware of is that they did put in survey points regarding the farm driveway access to Yardley Langhorne Road. Not the design, but they put out points to try to locate what made the most sense. And I know that Jim Majewski was going to go out there soon. He was going to call me to go along with him. That's everything I have. Fred and Jenifer, do you have anything more here?
I don't, thank you.
I know that we've seen an email that notice that Dennis had submitted to the township to David Kratzer and also to our supervisor liaison requesting an update on a number of things, including the foundation. And I guess that'll be the next item to come up. But it's, again, disappointing that we're now mid through the year and not getting much response from the township. And just in particular, our supervisor liaison, Mr. Supervisor Ross, has failed to attend any of the meetings, the 6 meetings we've had so far this year. So it's just disappointing that there seems to be a lack of urgency on the township side.
And follow on that, Dennis did ask for Dave or Maureen to attend here tonight. Neither one of them is here. Neither of them's online. So I guess Joe or Ron, if you have more information here.
But David did send
There
us
was
an email. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Ron.
Go ahead, Joe. I
No,
saw an
Joe.
email too. There's an email that we got back, Dennis, Ron, Joe, Peter. I don't know why I didn't include everybody, but did you all get that? Did you get that email as well? Joe?
I got it. Yes. Yes.
Okay. You want me to talk about it or do you want?
If you would, please, you're in the room. It's better.
Okay. As discussed with Dennis and for Peter's benefit, the chair of tonight's meeting, I have again followed up with the township solicitor on the status of the draft lease agreement between the township and private nonprofit. She responded she's in the process of working on a draft agreement. As a follow-up, I request a tentative date, completion. Well, she didn't offer a specific date. She didn't say she's working on it. The matter's on the top of her list of things for her to complete. Additionally, I've discussed the matter with Chair Grenier, and he has directed the township solicitor to prioritize the completion of this draft lease agreement. I can assure you that the delay is in no way a reflection of the board supervisor's commitment to the overall project. If you have questions or concerns or need any additional information for this evening's meeting, please let me know. And that was sent, I guess, about mid-afternoon today.
Okay. I don't think I received it, but okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
So I guess that kind of is where we're at there. Is there anything else to be said on that particular topic or the follow-on, or we're just waiting for, basically we can't move forward with anything without it, correct?
That's the way it looks to me at this point. I know that, and we all know as committee members that Dennis has pushed very hard to our committee representative who has, as Fred just pointed out, not been here. And I think that Dennis laid out the case very clearly in terms of what the commitments were of the supervisors. And this is then as their response. So I guess we have to take it as what they've said and that they've prioritized it, and it's no reflection on the activities of this committee or moving forward with Patterson Farm. Joe, did you want to comment?
I know, Ron, I think you said it's correct. I mean, but as Peter is pointing out, it just pushes the whole schedule. I mean, I would say, we haven't even started yet, right? Because that was one of the very first things that Dennis pointed out that was needed to be done. And then we can build from there. So I just feel like we're on a holding pattern until we get it. And I appreciate David's email, but I don't know who's setting the agenda for the solicitor because by having absolutely no date, I just can't understand that. Like why a service provider can't give you a date back as when your client asked you to have something due. I mean, I've been in business my whole life and I've never done that to a client.
Yeah, and I mean, I would chime in and say just for the record that the longer it takes for us to get this master lease agreement, I'm stating the obvious, I know, but the longer it takes for us to set up the nonprofit, to start raising money, to start working with the lease agreements and get things moving, it's very, very frustrating.
Okay, I think that's all we can say here. I mean, Dennis did a very good email, and I mean, we could make a motion or something to say that we support it, but I think we all did that for record via email already. So I guess no further investigation on potential funding sources in that in the intervening time period because there's nothing.
No.
All right, so on to you, Ron, for communications.
Okay, I can be very brief, but it was interesting. Dino Ciboletti from the Patch, as I'm sure most of you saw, did a story in quotes, Patterson Farm Master Plan improvements begin. This is kind of a juxtaposition to the conversation we just had, but that was the headline. That was the headline of the story. And he talked about in there about Cellar Drury during the master plan He talked about the stage one cost to begin preservation to 5 to 800,000. That the farm was mostly unavailable to the public, as we've said several times, and that's why we wanted to get this whole project moving. And he talked about AOI and Patterson Farm preservation. So I was actually curious as to how he got this story, because in the past, he's usually touched base with Dennis or with Jim Majewski. I asked Jim, what Jim informed me was that the article was inspired by the Facebook posts of June 25th about the painting project, which Bet actually posted. And then he went back, Dino that is, and added stuff from previous articles and posts, had a link to Zen City, which is on the LMT website, that added the project update and listed the priority group paintings, etc. So, Dino exercised, he saw the story and he wrote it. So it's a good headline. Some of the other things we've done is we recommitted to the resident ambassadors, both Emily Hiller and Jenna Castro. We talked to them, for a bit before the last supervisors meeting, trying to get the resident ambassadors to put a bow around that again. It does take a lot of energy to keep up with them and to keep them informed about things, but we really wanted to reassert that group again. And finally, and I'm not sure if I mentioned this last time, we did do an article for the August newsletter that'll be coming out, LMT. It hits on 3 major subjects. One is start of the painting and the carpentry. 2 is the progress or lack thereof of the long-term lease between the township and the nonprofit. And 3 is a preparation for the National Register of Historic Places nomination for the full 231-acre site. So that should appear in August, and that would complete my report.
Ron, could you remind me again about the resident ambassadors and their role?
Yeah, Joe. What we did, it was when we held our public hearings. We had 2 public hearings, as I recall, 2 years ago, and there were a lot of people who were very interested in what was going on, and they were neighbors, and 2 in particular, Jen and Emily. And Emily at the time with Jen gave us a list of folks in the community who would be interested in working with us on this project. And they were very active at both of the public hearings. We actually had a separate meeting with them, and we sought their advice. We held it actually at AOI. It was a very interesting meeting with all what we call resident ambassadors. They gave us lots of input and thoughts about how we should proceed with Patterson Farm. We let it go for a while, Joe, but we think it's time to resurrect that group. They're a good advocacy group. They can certainly advocate for getting this lease agreement signed. They can advocate for other things as we move along. And I think if we keep them informed and keep them close to keep them close to us, they can certainly help out over time.
Great.
Sure.
Yeah, I had forgotten about that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be a ways down, obviously it's down the road, but we're looking for members for the
Yes, we are.
board too. So that
Yeah.
might be they might be natural candidates, correct?
Good point. The other potential resident ambassadors, when Dennis and I were up here at the request of Lower Makefield Township Historical Association one day a couple months ago, we got the names of another 28 people that we still have. And the Historic Association also gave us the names that they collected that day. So that creates an even larger group for us to continue to talk to and to energize with regard to our issues.
Thank you.
Sure.
Anything more on this topic? Okay. Joe, you're up and you're the one who has a lot of things going on.
Before I dive into the National Register, I'm following up with a request that Dennis made that I asked for an action item to approve the letter that he wrote for the Historical Commission for the HARC grant, is for an archiving grant. He sent that out about a week or so ago. I think one or two people responded. So if you remember seeing it, if I could ask for, or I guess I would like to make a motion that we approve the letter, Dennis's letter in support of the Historical Commission's application for a HARC grant.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
No, I think it's a great letter and we should do it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's good. And the Historical Commission appreciates it. There's a couple of volunteers doing some really great work in terms of helping us to pretty much compile a lot of information on the history of the township, especially of the built environment in the township. And, the purpose of the grant is actually to digitize that and make it available online for people to peruse and also for research. So it's a great application. To the National Register, I sent out, and I'm sorry, I was hoping to get it done earlier this week, but something called a landscape integrity report. And this is a follow-up. Dennis and I had a meeting with Sam Stewart from Charlotte Farms. I think we reported on that at the last meeting, if I recall. And what we were trying to do is to understand how the farm evolved in the 20th century, especially how the farm changed after Tom Patterson bought it. So the landscape integrity report really has two purposes, right? One is to establish the historical significance of the farm in a period of 1940 to 1960, which is one of the periods that's designated by the state for significance for agricultural districts. And certainly, Sam explaining to us how Mr. Patterson, changed the farm, to focus on vegetable farming, and then how he shifted again to grain farming after that was really very helpful. And so that was one reason. The second thing, though, is to establish that the farm still has historical integrity as a farm, because you can imagine that a lot of places that might try to apply for National Register because they were a farm are no longer a farm, right? Or maybe they're not an active farm. But that's not the case with Patterson Farm, right? And certainly we were able to show, with Sam's help, a continuity from the last data that we had, which was the 1927 census, all the way up through the Patterson years, and then all the way up since Sam's been farming up to the present day. So that's the purpose of that. You can read through it if you like. Nice aerial photos. It's really interesting just to kind of page through the photos and see how the farm's changed over the years. I mean, these are aerial photos, so you're actually seeing how the farmland has changed. But it's an important piece for the National Register submission because it speaks to both the significance of the farm and proves that it still remains significant as a historic farm. That's all I have to say, unless you'd like me to open it and read through it, because we have plenty of time.
You were still working on the overall application too. There are a lot of components to it, right?
There are, Peter. I mean, there's a lot of research that needs to be done. And my goal this summer is to kind of do the research. And then as we move into fall, to do the writing of the submission itself. I mentioned before, like part of that research was looking at agricultural census back through the 19th century and early 20th century and demonstrating that the two farmsteads had production that was better than the average farm in Lower Makefield Township. So that work was done. This is an important piece. The next piece is actually dating the buildings, because that's going to be really important to tell us how far back we can go with our significance statement. And there's been a lot of previous work that's been done on that. So for example, when they built the Cloverleaf interchange for 95, there was a historic resource survey done then. Mm-hmm. So all that was done back in the late 90s. Mm-hmm. And then there was a a aborted National Register submission by the Heritage Conservancy in the early 2000s, and they dated it. They dated the buildings. And then actually when the Wegmans was put in, Prickett Preserve had a historic resource survey, and Prickett Preserve and the Janney Brown Farm, there used to be one farm. It used to all be Brown's farm at that time. So there's some information there around dating of buildings. So those are the reports I need to go through, need to find out where they agree, need to find out where they have differences, and then figure out how to reconcile the differences.
Joe, just, I don't, just a question. We've all noted the lack of action on creation of the not-for-profit to manage the properties. Does that have any influence over your submission? Does it add or subtract to the submission, or has no reference at all to it?
No, it doesn't really impact it. I mean,
Okay.
it's really a matter of what's the historical significance and integrity of the farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Other business? Does anybody have anything else they would like to bring up? I know a couple of items have been brought up over the course of the meeting, but is there anything that we've missed?
Peter, is this your last meeting?
No, I'll be here. I was planning on being here next month, and my move has gotten, I thought it was going to be easy to accomplish moving, but it isn't. So I might be here a few months longer. So, but I was planning on being here for August already anyway. So
Well,
it's probably going to be a couple months longer than that.
That's good for us.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Public comment. There's no public comment. There's nobody online. So next steps, I think we've all talked through what the next steps are because everything's in process, but is there anything upcoming? And I guess Fred, you're taking the lead on that. We didn't already talk about.
My other thing is our August meeting. Yes, would be the next one, which is, I guess, 14th.
That sounds right. Well, that's already been established by Katie with the township scheduling, so.
It's the 14th at 7:30.
Yes.
Everyone's available.
Yep.
Yep.
Guess that's it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
In favor?
All in favor? Okay. Just want to hang out here and go back through the same stuff we've been talking about for a year.
And you did all that in 58 minutes too, Peter.
That's great.
28
Even.
28 minutes.
28 minutes.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank
Good night,
you.
everyone. Take care.
Bye.